Welcome to New Hampshire's Business. I'm Fred Coker. The New Hampshire legislature returns to the State House in January, and one of the significant issues they'll face is the budget, with a current decline in some key state government revenues, including business tax receipts. This is happening at a time that state agency funding requests for the next fiscal year are up, and the future of federal funds is uncertain going forward. So what are the potential impacts? Well, key revenues declining after post-pandemic boost. Take a look at this graph on the right side, where the key state revenues line goes way up in 2021 and 2022 during the pandemic, showing revenue growth, but has gone downhill since in the millions and continues to decline into 2025. With me to explain this is the research director at the New Hampshire Fiscal Policy Institute, Phil Sletton. Welcome. Nice to have you here.
Thanks for having me, Fred. It's great to be here.
Over the last couple of months, I've had guests sitting right where you're sitting say, hey, state revenues are going down, and they do it within the context of whatever subject we're talking about. What's your overall take on that?
Yeah, so overall revenues are substantially lower, about 9% lower to those two key funds, the General Fund and the Education Trust Fund, this fiscal year so far relative to where they were last year. That doesn't mean that it's insurmountable. It doesn't mean that revenue couldn't grow its way out of that size of a hole, but it's very different from what we've seen over the last 4 budget biennia, where we've been used to revenue growth. That's not what we're seeing right now.
Right. Give me your research's analysis of this graph, which shows specific state revenue sources at the bottom of the graph, and then over on the right side it shows 4 of those revenue sources down: liquor commission, real estate transfer tax, tobacco tax, and combined business profits and enterprise taxes, all down this year and last. Could this continue into 2025?
It very well could. The trends in business tax revenues in particular is one thing that's very worth noting, because the business profits tax is the state's largest tax revenue source and has been responsible for a lot of the revenue growth that we've seen over the last 4 budget biennia. The 2 sources of revenue growth that we saw last fiscal year relative to the state's revenue plan, the most growth came from interest on state cash holdings. That's fading out as interest rates go down and the state's cash holdings diminish, particularly as one-time federal funds go away. The second is a tax revenue source that brought in a little bit more than $1 in $20 to those 2 funds last fiscal year. That is scheduled to be repealed next year.
The interest and dividend tax is going to be repealed.
Yes.
And that's a lot of money.
It was $184 million to the general fund last year.
Here is the state budget. Now, put this graph up for fiscal years 24-25 by fund, and in this pie chart you created, the big slice of blue shows federal funds at $4.82 billion that are in the state budget, 31.7% of the budget. As you know, there are proposals in Washington to cut federal fund programs such as education, and which could impact all states. And New Hampshire particularly vulnerable for something like that?
Yeah, so New Hampshire is pretty typical when it comes to states' overall reliance that state governments have on federal funds coming in. But remember, federal funds are sort of another source of revenue. They're just for specific programs. So education programming, care for veterans, food assistance, and particularly medical services, and Medicaid coverage in particular in New Hampshire.
Medicaid is a big one.
Yes, Medicaid brought in it's a state-federal fiscal partnership, the single largest program the state runs when it comes to overall dollars. It was $1.4 billion last fiscal year, and currently covers about 184,000 people. Small changes in Medicaid could be big changes in the state budget.
So that leads me to ask you, is there a potential is the key word, impact on state services?
There is
because of these declines.
Yeah, there is a potential. It depends on what happens with revenue, what happens with federal funds that come into the state, and also what happens to some of the looming big ticket items that the state has that are stemming from lawsuits, including lawsuits related to education funding and youth in the state's care over the last decades. Those could all be dollar amounts that come in and affect how other services can be funded as well.
The old adage, wait and see.
Yes, there's a lot of uncertainty still at this point.
Okay, Phil Sletton, Research Director at the New Hampshire Fiscal Policy Institute. Thank you.
Thank you, Fred.
And if you missed part of this briefing on state revenue declines and sources, you can go to WMUR.com, where it'll be posted all this week.